my favourite kind of thing, direct mail to receive through the post, is the Biscuiteers catalogue. I love receiving emails from them, but I love having that physical thing that I can flick through and look at all the biscuits that I could buy. Today we're here with Kerri from Klaviyo to talk about the importance of the customer-centric marketing and also how to deliver cross-channel marketing within your customer journey. Kerri, would you like to introduce yourself and how Klaviyo has importance within the customer lifecycle?
Yeah, absolutely. So Klaviyo is a customer marketing platform that helps forward-thinking e-commerce brands to connect with their customers, helps them to acquire new ones, and also helps them to leverage their data to create really amazing digital experience for their customers. So we were kind of born out of this company mission to help brands own their marketing and own their destiny. And what we really mean by that is helping them to really reduce the reliance on other channels that are subject to change, subject to price hikes, whatever. So basically empowering them to communicate directly with their customers and just do it like that, I suppose.
Perfect. And how would you say the emphasis on CRM has changed since the pandemic and kind of in the last few years, how that kind of need for delivering a great customer experience has really accelerated?
Well, we've seen a huge increase in that, I would say. As e-commerce boomed in 2020 in a way that nobody expected. It's always been on an upward trajectory, but I don't think anyone could have foreseen just how rapidly that all evolved. So as brands moved online for the first time or, increased their online presence, and as consumers turned their entire direction to online shopping, their expectations for, an excellent experience online increased in a way that maybe wasn't reflective of what they should be expecting. But as a result, brands have had to really adapt and really hone in on their CRM strategy to deliver that experience.
I think that's really interesting. I know we were talking earlier about how that CRM landscape is not just email, it's not just marketing, it's not just a channel anymore. It's across that whole business, and how CRM and customer experience teams really sit at kind of that board level, and how it's an expectation of the customer now to really get that great experience, whether that's from the product, whether that's from a CS experience or a marketing delivery standpoint. If you're not meeting that, you're really falling behind your kind of competitors, and that delivery of customer experience, customer marketing, CRM, messaging, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you're also competing against what they would expect in store. So when you're shopping in store and you're having a chat with a human being who's able to kind of see what kind of products you're looking at and make recommendations based on where you are in the store, what size you might be looking at, whether you can ask you questions, are you shopping for yourself or for your partner or your kid? So you can kind of tailor that in store, and it's just replicating that in line, how you communicate with your customers.
Yeah, definitely. There's nothing worse than you've only bought female clothes from a brand and then you receive a whole email or SMS about male clothing. I think consumers expect that kind of personalisation now within, whether that's emails or push notifications, kind of demand-led, personalised, relevant communications. And I think that has to be transparent across that whole journey. Like you said, when you walk into a shop, you get that experience. And when you go onto a website, if we know that user, that whole end-to-end journey should be personalised and those data points should be reached.
Absolutely, yeah. A good example I always like to fall back to is shopping online at a pet store, for example. So let's say you've got a golden retriever, and you've been, adding various different dog food to your cart. That's kind of, you're able to build up a picture of this customer based on their activity on site or based on their previous purchases. Yeah, by then targeting them with bird food, for instance, it makes absolutely no sense to do that.
Yeah, I think that's really important. And let's just go back to that kind of conversation we spoke about cross-channel marketing. I think there's a misconception with kind of CRM when people think of it, and we immediately think of email, but actually brands like Klaviyo, other kind of leaders in the market as well, it's not just email, it's far from it. And if you're delivering CRM at that kind of high standard, your strategy doesn't just include email nowadays. How do Klaviyo get around that, and what kind of other tools do they deliver to their consumers?
Yeah, it's a great point. It's so much more than just email. So we were kind of born as a data platform first. So the problem that we recognised in the market was that, you've got all of these different tools online, which, you're able to use for lots of fantastic different things. But all the data is then, siloed, and it doesn't speak to each other. So Klaviyo is this data first platform. We've got over 230 integrations, I think. We're able to pull all of that in, whether it's from a loyalty platform, reviews platform, shipping, all of that into one place, and then use that to communicate with the customers. So as you say, that could be via email, which is, I guess, a very traditional channel. And when leveraged properly with the right tool and by the right people, it can be very, very powerful. But we've also seen a rise of SMS being a great channel to reach customers on as well. And I think, some people might be a little bit hesitant to roll out SMS, but you kind of got to think to yourself, some of these people you're trying to communicate with, their inboxes could be completely saturated, and you've got to find a way to differentiate and get in front of them in a way that they want to be spoken to.
SMS works if you're using it properly. So from that kind of transactional standpoint, it works really well, but also I think it does work really well in things like abandoned cart, where you're really trying to bring that user back into kind of that purchase journey where they have shown intent, or maybe people have stopped engaging with your emails. It then is a really great re-engagement tool. So I think where used properly, it can really help deliver that customer experience.
Yeah, completely. And it's those time sensitive messages as well, as you say. We've all got our phones on us all of the time, and we check our phone, we open a text much more quickly than we would open an email. So if you've got a flash sale, that's a really good channel to be contacting people on, or your VIPs, letting them know about early access to a product launch. It's those kinds of time sensitive messages that work really well.
Yeah, perfect. Is there any other kind of channels that Klaviyo kind of outreaches to? I know here we do quite a lot with kind of building audiences within ESPs to then push out to kind of Facebook and Google to help our paid social teams really have those dynamic audiences to target people at the right time when they're kind of flowing through those abandoned carts or re-engagement series.
Yeah, exactly that. So you've got the email, SMS, social's a fantastic way of interacting as well. So within Klaviyo, for example, being able to build a segment and identify who your VIPs are, so who is spending the most with you, who has the highest customer lifetime value. Once you've built that really bespoke segment, then pushing that out into, say, your Facebook ads as a lookalike audience, so that you're spending a lot of money on these ads. You've got to make sure that the kinds of customers that you're bringing on are the ones that are going to generate that similar kind of customer lifetime value as well. So that's a really key way to be communicating.
Yeah. And I think one of the misconceptions with CRM is that it's a really difficult kind of service to manage and really kind of difficult to crack, particularly around that kind of customer experience. And if I think about kind of the top brands that I engage with them because of that great customer experience I get. But I don't think it needs to be hard when you've got the right platforms and the right support from kind of marketing agencies and professionals who can help deliver that service.
Yeah, completely. And you've got the full circle to think about as well. So we touched on customer service as being something that brands should be focusing on and thinking about how they can get it right. So, finding a tool that integrates. So, we integrate with a number of different help desks, but it's so helpful for a CS agent to have all of that data available to them. So if there's a support query that comes in, they know, is this customer a churn risk? Are they a VIP? When was the last time they made a purchase? Having all of that information there helps you deliver a really amazing customer experience as well. And I don't know about you, but there have been certain instances where I've had an issue with support, maybe delivery's been off, but after I've had that chat with a support person, I'm left thinking that was an amazing customer experience, and even though something was wrong, I'm going to be raving about it to everybody I know. So there's definitely an opportunity there to get it right.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's one of the things that excites me most about CRM and kind of this customer area and service that we find ourselves in now, where the customer really brings these demands to businesses and expectation. I think an exciting part of my role is that in the 8 years I've been working in CRM, it doesn't seem to be slowing down. And the importance on that kind of CRM customer-centric approach is only growing. And I think platforms like Klaviyo, where it really helps us to develop that one-to-one customer approach, really is just so exciting for CRM marketers like me, to find new ways to improve that customer experience, from kind of CS and how we can develop that, but also how we can inform kind of new products that brands bring to life because of that customer data we have, and then delivery across all those marketing channels that CRM marketers can help inform. I think it's really vital as part of a business now that you start thinking customer first.
And it's such an important way to differentiate your brand as well. And you could try and go down the transactional relationship route and always compromise on price points and throw a discount in every now and again, but it's a very short-term way of thinking, because you're always going to be going up against Amazon, who can drop the price further. So you want to build these longer-lasting emotional connections with your customers, and the way you do that is by creating as you say, a really customer-centric experience for them.
Yeah, I think it's so important and really underestimated in some situations. How do you feel like CRM and that customer approach is going to develop over the next kind of 5-10 years? Do you think it will just heighten as we progress through the years?
I definitely think so. Yeah, I think that focus on personalisation is really at the very beginning, and there are so many brands that aren't taking advantage of it just yet because they've maybe not had the tools to, or they have other things on their plate. But being able to build customer segments that are really, really targeted, and then really, really personalising with those segments in terms of content and who you're sending it to, we've just scratched the surface with that. So I think we'll see a lot more of that to come as people really kind of start to leverage it. I think the way brands are messaging with their customers at the moment is shifting. So away from the more maybe aggressive sales approach, like putting this is our product, to using the opportunity to communicate, to be more about the brand messaging and what's important to you as a customer. This is what our brand stands for, whether it's conscious consumerism, for example, being a big trend at the moment, just really communicating what the brand stands for and building a customer base that way.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like there's definitely been a shift from that kind of batch and blast discounting that we saw kind of so key within that customer journey, to now shifting away from that to really sell and talk around the brand mission and making that customer the hero of that brand, and how brands can really help support that customer throughout their life cycle, and for any problems that they're having, that brand can then help support that customer with their product that they're selling. I think you made an interesting point around how we're just scratching the surface, and I think on-site personalisation and even email personalisation is going to come on leaps and bounds as we go through the next few years. I think customer experience will just enhance, I think. And I think we were talking about this earlier, but channels like direct mail are going to become back again around more key in the kind of marketing suite of platforms, because people like to have something to hold on to now. They like to be surprised and delighted when a welcome pack falls through their front door when they sign up to something. I think it's not just about these digital channels in terms of CRM, it's also how do we use that customer data to really ensure that we're bringing kind of direct mail back and sending it to the right person at the right time. And I think CRM will only grow as we go through the next few years.
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head there. I think a lot of people have maybe thought, okay, omni-channel in terms of, online, offline is dead. Everybody's moving digital now, which, is true. People are moving digital much more than they ever have been. But omni-channel is by no means dead. And you've got brands like Gymshark, who have always been online, moving offline for the first time. And so I think having this blended approach, as you say, whether that's in-store online versus an email direct mail, it plays into, people miss physical experiences, particularly after the last few years we've had. So being able to cater for both. Yeah,
I was saying earlier that my favourite kind of thing, direct mail to receive through the post, is the Biscuiteers catalogue. I love receiving emails from them, but I love having that physical thing that I can flick through and look at all the biscuits that I could buy. And I just love that kind of something to hold on to, put on the side and come back to after. Whereas email is very, look at it, digest it, I'm off. And I think direct mail definitely still has that place within that kind of core marketing mix. Same with SMS and push and website personalisation. Where used right in the customer journey, they're all excellent tools to deliver that kind of customer experience across a customer journey.
Yeah, and it's just leveraging them all in the right way and making sure they're all unified as well. So yeah, you know how you're communicating with your customers and what they're receiving better.
Yeah. I think that's a great way to summarise this conversation, that customer first should be your key, and that data should inform what channel, what message, what timing that you deliver that message, and the customer and data, hand in hand, just means that you can deliver that excellent customer experience for your users.